In this video, I'm going to explain some editing tips, how to edit your takeoff. Also, over at the right here, how to use the Add Labor button, the Add Comment button, and the Add Product button. First, I want to explain this. When you click on the takeoff page, it highlights a line in gray. You can see I have highlighted a line here. Now, let me explain something. If I go input more materials, they're going to appear above the highlighted line. The good news is that you can surgically put or place materials wherever you want in the takeoff. Now I'm going to show you examples of what I'm saying. So I'm going to drill down in the product catalog and just add an item of material, and it will populate above line 9 here that I have highlighted gray. On the left, I drill down in the product catalog and just input a quantity of 1 here. Now watch, when I add it, it'll go above this line that I highlighted. I'll click Add, see how it populates above it, and then I'll click Save. So if I don't have anything highlighted, it will populate materials at the bottom of the list. Here's the good and the bad of that. If you accidentally click someplace in the middle of the takeoff, and then you go add a bunch of materials, and save it, and then you look down at the bottom for them, they're not going to be there because you highlighted an area here and it input them in the middle of your takeoff. So be careful of that. The way to remove the highlighted line, I'm going to scroll up, is just click the Save button. Next, I'm going to explain the Add Labor button here at the top. Now, I'm going to click on line 1, and I want Add Labor, whatever I input next, to go above line 1. So I'll do that. Clicked on line 1, highlighted it. Now I'm going to click the Add Labor button. Add Labor allows you to input labor only for things. Some examples of what you might use it for is trenching, compaction, or backfill. If you have to put a guy on, or you have to estimate trenching, you put in the hours for that. Also demolition, removing electrical items. You'd use the Add Labor button for that. Here's another example is if you are installing big switchgear or transformers, then you would add labor to move that big equipment from the truck to where it's going to be mounted. I'm going to type an example of trenching. I like to type in pretty exact descriptions. So I typed in trench 50 feet, 24 inches deep. I'm going to put in a quantity of 1, and I'm just going to say I think it'll take 5 hours for that. So I'll click in the labor hours box 5 for 5 hours, click Save, and it added 5 hours to my takeoff. So if I'm estimating commercial electrical or residential electrical or structured cabling low voltage, again, Add Labor function is for just things outside the scope of what Red Rhino has in it. So in residential, you might add for a remodel factor. Or an example is if you have to crawl in an attic or if you have to crawl under a house, you might add labor just for that. For structured cabling, if you had to remove or demo a bunch of cable or components, you could use Add Labor for that. Next, I'm going to explain the Add Comment button. I like to put comments all over my estimate. Oftentimes when you estimate things, you don't do them right away. You might not do them for a month or 2 or 6 months. And so to that point, you want to make notes on your takeoff here so you can know what you're thinking when you're making the estimate. Now I'm going to make this appear at the top again. I'm going to click on line 1 and I'm going to click on Add Comment. When I do, it opens a dialog box here where I can type in the description only. In this case, I'm just going to make a note in here, owner provides lighting fixtures. Now sometimes I like to, or most of the time I should say, I like to type in capital letters. It shows up better. So let me type that in. Owner provides light fixtures. Okay, so I typed that description in. Next, I click Save to save my work. So just for your edification, I'll say that if I want to type a comment down here above this line item, I would just click here and then scroll up, click the Add Comment button, and I type my comment in here and save it. Next, I'm going to explain Add Product button on the top right. Again, for this training, I'm going to put it at the top of the list just so we can see it, so it's visible. So I'm going to click on line 1. I want to put that product on the top line. I click Add Product. When I do, it opens up the fields for me to fill in the blanks. The purpose of Add Product is to add any product that Red Rhino doesn't have in the product catalog, some type of specialty item. I'm going to use an example that I have to provide a specialty chandelier. Now, while Red Rhino has labor to install chandeliers, it does not have product, or I should say material price. So I'm going to type that in. I put in a description. I'll put in a quantity of 1. I'm going to just use a magical thought up number here. I'm going to say the chandelier costs $450 and it will take 8 hours to install. Oops, let me make that 8. So that's it. You type in the description. I probably misspelled chandelier. Quantity, the price, you type the price of it in, and you type in the hours that you want to apply to installing that item. After that, you click Save. That's going to be it for this video. Again, one of the things I see commonly is people will click in the middle of the page and then they'll go add materials. I'm going to do that right now. And when they add them and save them, they look down at the bottom for those materials and they don't see them and they think that Red Rhino didn't input them. So if you highlight something accidentally, just click the Save button to remove it. And then when you input materials, they'll appear, populate at the bottom.